And here we go. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to BWTM Sports. If I didn't already say it to you for yesterday, I hope you've had a Merry Christmas for those who celebrate Christmas. And for those of you who don't celebrate Christmas, you've just had enjoying the festive season, the happy holidays. I hope you're safe and well to you and your loved ones. So let's get into some boxing talk. Before I start and begin, always have to mention this. Very quickly, the BWTM Cup of Success, part of the BWTM collection, is now available. The link is now in the description box, so take a look at how you can get yourself a BWTM Cup of Success. Right, so plenty to talk about. The title, Deontay Wilder versus Wladmir Klitschko. I'm expecting somebody. Happy holidays to you too, Tanaka. Hope you've had a really good day if you celebrate Christmas. If not, if you had a good day, period, and a good week. Same to you, Samuel. Blessings to you. Now, I want to talk about this subject, and anytime I do a video, anytime a video comes up on BWTM, just for those who don't know, if I put something Deontay Wilder versus Wladmir Klitschko in 2019 question mark, that means it's not confirmed. What it basically means, for those who always ask me, is it confirmed? It basically means it's something that is either something I've heard, but I cannot confirm, something I've been told, but cannot release, or it's just my own interpretation of the situation. And if it's an interpretation of a situation, then I will tell you it's an interpretation of the situation. But in this situation, I'm just putting it out there. Wladmir Klitschko, Deontay Wilder versus Wladmir Klitschko, 2019. Now, I always look at body language at the end of a fight. Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury went through 12 rounds. Fury just got off the deck. Obviously went to 12 rounds, and he was on top in the 12th round after he dropped Deontay Wilder. He fought back gallantly and even forced Deontay Wilder back in the closing moments of the fight. Now, I was very interested to see the body language of both Fury and Deontay Wilder at the end of the fight in terms of talking about a rematch. When they asked Tyson Fury about an immediate rematch, it wasn't what he said, it was how he said it that made me think, okay. And it seemed to me that whilst the world wanted that rematch immediately, he wasn't so sure. Now, that could be because he just got off the canvas and was badly hurt before that and was considering, well, do I really want to be going back in the ring immediately with this ferocious puncher? Do I want to go and refine my skills before a rematch with this guy? Because if he hits me like this again, he can hurt me. It's shown twice. Was that going through his mind? Or was it something else? I wasn't sure. But there's one thing I am sure about. Is the name Wladmir Klitschko. That name's been floating around ever since he got knocked up by Joshua those years ago. And I remember, if those of you who've been following the channel for a while will know distinctly that straight after that knockout defeat, Wladmir Klitschko, I was at his hotel room with his assistant trainer, Uncle James Bashir. And he told me on camera, I don't think this is the last time we've seen of Wladmir Klitschko. He was so sure about it. And we hadn't seen Wladmir Klitschko for a while. I do know that Wladmir has been sparring extensively with Alexander Usyk. Now, there's talk of Wladmir Klitschko coming back. There's always been this talk within boxing circles, and I don't know why people like to bring it up, but I understand. How would Deontay Wilder have done against Wladmir Klitschko? Okay. Now, the question is this. People ask the question, how would Wladmir have done against Wilder? Well, Wladmir hit Joshua with that right hand, then Wilder wouldn't have got up. That's why I hear people talk about, particularly through YouTube talk. But people are always looking for, I don't know, an excuse to not give somebody their credit. So fair enough. So there's talk about the king returning. Now, to me, I think it is a more viable fight for Wladimir Klitschko to fight Deontay Wilder than it is for Wladimir Klitschko to fight Anthony Joshua for a second time. Because Tyson Fury's fought Klitschko and beat him. Joshua's fought Klitschko and beat him. But Wilder hasn't. And you know, could a Wilder fight with Joshua potential with Deontay Wilder and Klitschko fight happen early next year? Maybe as early as March or April? Could it happen? What would stop that fight from happening? What would stop the fight from happening? Questions you've got to ask yourself is, okay, although Klitschko's sort of retired, how much power does he still hold in the heavyweight division with the governing bodies? How much power would he have? Say, okay, people say that Wladimir Klitschko's too old now, but people are convenient about age. He wasn't old when he fought Fury, but when Fury beat him, he was old. But so he's old when Fury beat him, but he wasn't old when Joshua beat him. It was a better version of Klitschko that fought Joshua than a better Klitschko that fought Fury. And now, if Wilder fights him, what are you going to tell me? He's old? But he was old when Fury fought him. Fury himself said he was an old man. So if Fury beat him all the way back then, and then Joshua beat him, then if Wilder fights him, and Wilder knocks him out, then what's going to be the story then? Well, Wilder fought a washed-up Klitschko. Right. Well, how else are you gonna make this fight? How else are you gonna make this fight tangible? For you to get Pete Klitschko, then Wilder has to then be a little boy, right? So I don't know. This is the sort of catch-22. You want him to fight Klitschko. He beats Klitschko. You say Klitschko's an old man. This is what people will say. So when a lot of times when people come on YouTube and I have these conversations and say, oh, what would happen if this guy fought that guy? Well, okay, you're getting the fight. Are you considering their age? What have they done? People celebrate Joshua. He was in the greatest heavyweight fight of the modern era. I didn't say that. That's what Sky promote. Right? Well, I think a greater fight was Bo Holyfield 1. It had everything. It had back and forth, and the small man versus the big man. It had knockdowns. It had comebacks. Track Media, there's a difference between old and washed up. And the last time we saw him, he was far from washed up. So, okay, old and washed up. So the last time you saw Klitschko, you didn't think he was washed up. The last time you saw Klitschko, he went guns blazing. But there was no game plan from Klitschko. Klitschko went out and just threw punches because he thought Joshua was naive. He went out there and let his hands go. It wasn't safety first Klitschko. It was an exciting Klitschko. He let his hands go against Joshua because he didn't have the respect for Joshua. Because at that time, he didn't respect Joshua because Joshua didn't have the experience. That's why Klitschko was trying to jump on him. And that strategy was working until Vitaly whispered in his ear, wait until he tires. Klitschko would have knocked Joshua out in the 6th round had it not been for a few years younger. Yep. Ortiz was 60 when Wilder was with him. That's literally what people said. Yeah, that's true. People are now talking about Ortiz. Let's go back. Let us go back. Let's take this all back. And I know we BWTM don't get credit for what we do, but we don't care. We're not waiting for people's approval. It was on this channel it was exposed about Ortiz's age. But yet, even with that factor, people were pushing for Ortiz versus Wilder, because they wanted to see Deontay Wilder get beat. That's what a lot of them say. They wanted to see him get beat. And they knew Ortiz had power and he was skillful. So they make the fight happen. Ortiz gets his ass knocked out, as I said it would happen. And then Ortiz is a long man. But this is the same Ortiz that is viable for Dillian White, but not viable for Anthony Joshua. So agendas behind people's age. Either the guy is old enough to fight everybody and good enough to fight everybody, or he's old and washed up for everybody. He's either old and old for Fury, as Fury called it, Joshua, and now Wilder, which he is, as far as I'm concerned, Klitschko is. And people talk about Wilder versus Klitschko. In my opinion, just my opinion, they're polar opposites. Klitschko is defensive first, and Wilder is attack first. So it's a clash of styles. Klitschko very much, I don't want to get hit, but I'm going to hit you. And Wilder is, I'm going to hit you even if I'm getting hit. I'll abandon all game plan and go for you. And the history of Klitschko against huge punches isn't good. If he got knocked out by Corey Sanders and he got knocked out by lesser punches, let me say this, lesser punches have knocked Klitschko out. I don't know. I don't particularly want to see Klitschko versus Wilder. He'll get badly hurt, in my opinion. Ortiz is older than Klitschko. He's 50-odd. Fury will likely reject Wilder rematch in the States. Wilder's going to duck AJ, but needs a big name. Can see Wilder versus Vlad versus Wilder happening. Vlad sees a victory as avenging his loss to Fury. As fans know, Fury won and winning the WBC, which he never held. Wilder will fancy as Vlad's over the hill. I agree. Ortiz still looks very good, and there's no guarantee that any of these guys beat him, including Wilder in rematch. White won't fight him, nor Big Baby Miller, because his age. He's still a threat. He's a threat, but I mean, how much of a threat? How much of a threat is Luis Ortiz? Okay, because all right, he beat Brian Jennings. Fair enough. But we know the story. Well, most of us know the story behind the Brian Jennings fight. Jennings had just come off a defeat to Klitschko and was rushed into a fight against Ortiz, and he wasn't properly prepared. And there is speculation that Ortiz may have been on something in that fight. I am not saying that. That is what, if you go back and listen to an interview I did with Jennings, you can listen to hear that himself. And he wasn't tested for that fight. So I understand. So I've been told. So I don't know. I don't know what's what. What I do know is that there's a possibility of Wladimir Klitschko trying to upset the party in 2019. Look, this stuff about people who push this agenda of Wilder ducking AJ, you know exactly what box they're popping out of. How can a guy that's just been involved with the person who's fought the second best heavyweight or the best heavyweight in the world, people acknowledge Tyson Fury to be that man? How can that be ducking a guy that I don't get that? I don't understand it. Trap yourself with Big Baby Miller. He's not fought anyone yet. Yeah, I've talked about Big Baby Miller before, and I'm going to close this off again. Until that guy fights somebody legit, Big Baby Miller is a myth, and that's what it is. He's big, and he's big. I renamed him Big Bully Miller because that's what it is. If you really are that good, why are you fighting? If you want to talk about ancient and old, it's Thomas Adamek. What the hell was Big Baby Miller doing in the ring with Thomas Adamek? That was a mismatch, and you're top heavyweight in the world. You fight Thomas Adamek. That says the agenda that's with Big Bully Miller. He could have fought Pulev. He had the chance to fight Pulev. He didn't fight Pulev, but that's not considered ducking. Huey Fury goes and fights Pulev. That's a different story altogether. I just think people pick up thought processes based on other people's opinions, based on if a promoter says it, People can't make their own minds up. They have to follow what a promoter says. If the promoter says it, it must be correct. No. Remember what the person is a promoter. Their job is to promote or to guide or to enhance the prospects of that fighter or that organization. They are to promote. Let me say anything about them telling the truth. Promote. In the best interest. That's what they're being paid for. To be in the best interest of the company, the project, the person, the organization, the group. That's what a promoter is. They're not a judge. They're not the police. They're not government enforcement. They are promoter. All right? Much like people who are there to protect you from a drug cartel, for example. You pay them to protect you. Their job is to protect you, to make sure that you don't get harm in any way, shape, or form. Their job, you don't care about their integrity and how they go about it. Their job is just to protect you. So in terms of promoter, a lot of people want to listen to what a promoter has to say without actually filtering the information out and going, okay, he's in this guy's corner. He's going to say that, because him not saying that, he could lose his job as a promoter and somebody else could do the job as well. So that's the way I look at the role of a promoter. Fury and his team knows the rematch is too dangerous to take in the States, hence them asking for it in the UK. If Wilder was as shit as everyone's making out, Team Fury would fight him anywhere. Facts. Yeah, I don't get into all that stuff about Wilder. I don't get into that because it's not constructive talk. And most of the people that talk that nonsense don't have agendas. They can't think for themselves. Most of the people just follow. Just listen to most people. If you listen to what they say or what they type, they basically are sheep. They're following, or shepherd. They just follow what a promoter says and they just type it, rather than think about it and say, does this make sense? No. Well, if this promoter said it, it must be true, so I'm typing it. So you can just tell by the way they type. Big Baby Miller should get a job at Mothercare. Total joker. He beat Adamek, and who was the other guy that he fought last time? Someone known and defeated Bin Man, who fought in Malaysia or something. Big Baby will make a big splash in 2019. He will get AJ a White fight. Yeah? And then that will be his best fight of his career. A fighter with size, personality, and skill of Big Baby has never been seen. Big Baby, yeah, they have. His name's Riddick Bowe. He was big. He had skill, and he had far more ability, and he had far more personality than Big Baby Miller. And if Big Baby Miller and Riddick Bowe ever fought in Bowe's prime, Bowe would have beat the crap out of Big Baby Miller. Big Baby Miller's not that good. He's not that good. I don't like AJ, but I want him to beat Miller. Was talking about his mum. Okay, right. I would like to pay to see White versus Miller, but absolutely zero chance of me paying to watch Miller versus Joshua. I don't know why people want to see Miller versus White. For what point? White is the A side, and Miller would be the B side. I would like to see Miller actually fight somebody legit in the top 10 to actually justify his point of being in the top 10, to fight a top 10 fighter. I don't. On what merit does Miller deserve a world title shot ahead of Dillian White? If you can justify it, please do. I'm waiting. Jarrell Miller should fight Povetkin. No, I don't want to see that fight. I don't want to see that fight for a number of reasons. Povetkin just come off a knockout defeat. I don't want to see that fight because Povetkin just got knocked out. I don't want to see that fight. I'd rather see Miller fight Ortiz. Well, let him fight Ortiz. That's a good fight. Miller versus Ortiz. Miller versus Dominic Brazil. There's a fight right there. Dominic Brazil and Miller. Both guys have fought nobody of note of late. Let those two fight. Dominic Brazil and Miller. There's a good fight for you right there. Joe Miller should have fought Pulev for mandatory. That would have been a good win for him. He chose to avoid it. That's what you call ducking. That is the quintessential of ducking, avoidance, ducking. He had the fight lined up to fight Pulev and slipped out to fight Adamek. That is ducking. In my mind, that's ducking. You leave a perfectly good fight with a perfectly good top 10 fighter to go and fight Adamek and outweigh him for what, 60 pounds, 50, 60 pounds? Really? Is it the fact that Pulev would have been a little bit more skilled? Miller versus Joe Parker. Yeah, that's a good fight. Miller versus Joe Parker. That's a good fight. I'll take that. Miller versus Joseph Parker. I hear in the grapevine that, well, not in the down the grapevine, there's stories now of Dave Allen going to fight Lucas Brown, or David Price fighting Lucas Brown. Okay. All right. I still would like to see Lucas Brown versus Joseph Parker. I think that fight should be made. Miller said him and Ortiz are good friends. That's convenient. That's very convenient. What about him and Dominic Breazeale? Are they good friends? Very convenient. Very, very convenient. Seems to me that Miller just wants to make some money. That's what I say, quick money. Price, Shadow Realms, Brown. Dave Allen needs to stay away from Brown. I agree with that as well. He needs to stay well away from Lucas Brown, because Lucas Brown can still punch, and he may come into shape, in better shape than he was against Dillian Whyte. Okay, I want to go back now. I want to talk about something else. So Wladmir Klitschko versus Deontay Wilder. Will it happen in 2019? Miller said Pulev's second cut. Funny, Cameron. Very funny. Very, very funny. I want to talk a bit about repackaging in boxing. Bryant James would beat the brakes off Dillian Whyte. I have to think about that statement, and I have to think about it a lot. I have to think about it a lot. I like BY. You know I love BY. I think BY is fighting Oscar Rivas in January. I think he's got his hand full with Oscar Rivas. I think why about no Dillian Whyte. I think he's got a deal with Oscar Rivas, from what I understand. Yeah, he's on a good winning streak, but he's got Oscar Rivas next, I understand. Yeah, exactly. You see, I asked the other night about Dominic Breazeale, right? Did I not ask you the other night, who's Dominic Breazeale fought recently? Who did Dominic Breazeale fight on Saturday night? And you're jumping up and down about Dominic Breazeale. You know, who's that guy? I didn't know who that. He's fighting a guy. I didn't know who the guy was. I didn't know who the guy was. Was that guy in the top 10? Was he in the top 20? I've never seen that guy in my life. Who is that guy? Who was that guy? I didn't know who that guy was. Anyway, let's move on. So we've talked about Wilder versus Klitschko. I want to go back to visit a fight. Derek Chisora and Dillian Whyte. I talked about patterns and behavior patterns, and I was concerned when David Haye got on board with Derek Chisora. Remember, Derek Chisora said he was born again and he was saved, and he dedicated life to God, and it was War Chisora, and we saw a totally in shape Chisora. I'm very concerned, or I'm very weary of new teams, fighters that leave one team and go to another team and say they're the best ever, and they're in great shape now, and they're better than they were in the last training camp. I am very dubious of that, particularly when they're going from one big fight to another, until they show me differences in their behavior and their attitudes. I felt personally that Derek Chisora was like flogging a dead horse or dead donkey. Now, let me explain this further. I saw no difference in Derek Chisora mental breakdown of Derek Chisora as he had when he fought David Haye was exactly the same as when he fought Dillian Whyte. Same breakdown, missing with punches, frustration, leave yourself open, loading up with big shots and missing, getting caught, getting knocked out. And I was saying it in commentary. So I said it as I saw it, and then you saw the capitulation of Derek Chisora. Where was all that war Chisora? He just came in swinging bombs, just swinging, and not thinking about what he was doing. And like the old pro, Dillian Whyte just two things Dillian Whyte does really well. He does catch and shoot very well. And he knows how to place that left hook. How the hell can Derek Chisora go from one fight and then suddenly be just transform overnight because David Haye walks into the gym? I saw magic when I saw David. I saw magic. David Haye should become a politician. I swear he should be a politician. He should become the mayor of Bermondsey or the MP for Bermondsey. I swear he would make a fine politician because they lie through their back teeth and David can lie and he can lie with a straight face. I agree. Dillian Whyte didn't look great against Delaware except for the KO. Well, no, I thought Dillian Whyte looked good. I think he looked very good. I think he looked. See, people expect the same Dillian Whyte. Dillian Whyte was boxing to instructions. Stick behind the jab, box, frustrate, tie up, catch him with shots on the inside. He boxed like a pro, like a veteran. That's how Dillian Whyte boxed. I said in the rematch, Dillian Whyte would not box like he boxed as an inexperienced fighter that didn't know how to go pace himself for 12 rounds because he'd never been 12 rounds. You've seen in this fight the evolution of Dillian Whyte. You've seen a guy who now can get behind his jab and box, who doesn't need to brawl. He knows he can do 12 rounds now. He can pace it because he's fought better opposition. Derek Chisora has never been a world champion. Never been a world champion. He's fought two former world champions, Joseph Parker and Lucas Brown. Think what you want of both of them. They've both accomplished something that Derek Chisora has never accomplished. And with that comes, as you step up in class, both guys are big punchers. Nobody argue that Brown or Parker are big punchers. Bigger punches, I would say, than Derek Chisora. Box, box, box. That's what he did. He didn't look good because he didn't bring the same excitement that he brought the first fight. Dillian Whyte boxed better in the second fight. Well, you would argue with me, but I would say that Dillian Whyte caught a lot of Chisora shots, made him miss a lot, and set up that knockout punch. So he looked, for me, excellent. Negron's from Puerto Rico. Well, I don't know who the hell it was. Chisora honestly looked slower than he ever was from the first round, right? Yeah, and from the first round, Dillian Whyte, bam, straight right hand. And he shook Chisora. Ingram, do you feel Whyte is still mixed between trying to be a boxer and a brawler? No, I don't. I think he's got a style now where he can box and brawl. I think he's a box brawler. That's what I think. I think though that Dillian Whyte is better being a boxer puncher than a boxer brawler. When Dillian Whyte is a boxer puncher, he's far more effective than he's a boxer brawler. When he's a boxer brawler, that's when you start seeing all them kind of funny punches that Dillian Whyte likes to throw, and the big winging and loading up with shots. That's when he's brawling and swinging from the heels. That's where he looks ugly. But when he boxes, when he's boxer puncher, he's more effective, much more effective. The boxer, what I'm saying is where the sequence of how he knocked Chisora out, that was boxer puncher, not brawler. Because if he was brawling, he would have knocked Chisora out like that. He'd have probably got himself knocked out. Chisora left himself open, boxer mentality, looking to throw your shot, place your shot, puncher, left hook, bang. So I think boxer puncher is where Dillian Whyte's best attributes are. Boxer brawler is probably where his, or puncher brawler is where his worst attributes are. Just a personal opinion. David Haye overtrained him. LOL. Still looked a little wary. Got stunned in the first round. Of course he did. When David Haye said we will see some magic from Chisora that we've never seen before, I said, haha. Yeah, that's what I said at that point as well. Myself, I thought, you know what? David's up to his old tricks again. There was no way, Derek, as Ruben says, there was no way Derek was going to go through this transformation just because David Haye was in there. So you're telling me, what logically, you're trying to tell me, and I would ask the question, if I was anywhere near them guys, I said, well, hold on a second. Don, you're basically, you are co-signing, or Derek, you're co-signing the fact that in all the years you've been with Don Charles couldn't get a drop out of you, but David Haye, who's trained nobody, walks into the gym one day and he can get magic out of him. David needs to go and visit a lot more gyms then. It's just David being a proper salesman. He's a proper salesman. Proper salesman. That's what it is. Yeah, he was getting beat up by Takam as well. People don't remember these things. People forget these things and they just look at the first fight. He was getting his father and son. Father was giving our son a good whooping before he landed that right hand. Dillian summed it up well in an interview. If you box Derek, he's lost. Yeah, of course. CBS Sports TV, salute my brother. How are you doing? Of course, Derek Chisora can't adjust. He's one-dimensional. He got paid, though. White will always cause Joshua problems. He's a lot better than he was when they first fought. Well, of course he's going to be better because he's going to be healthy. And he's going to be better because he's going to actually be fit. Remember, if you go back and listen to, and I'm sure Cameron, you would have been one of the first to admit this. Remember when people were talking about, you go back and pull up my video about Dillian Whyte versus Anthony Joshua. And I warned you all, said to you all, he's not ready for this fight. He's injured and he's not fit. He should not take this fight. And all the other people, yeah, go and get Dillian Whyte to fight Joshua. Shouldn't take the fight. But it worked out for his good because he went and learned about the sport of boxing after that. But, and people thought I was talking rubbish. What happened? What, a few days later, Dillian Whyte was in hospital, was in with shoulder injury. Remember all that? I remember it well. When Dillian is sloppy, I don't think he's good. But when he breaks you down, he is something to watch. Yeah, that's because he's boxing, not brawling. Howdy, Ingram. Hope all is well. Hands up, don't shoot. All is well. I'm not so sure about that. Hands up, don't shoot. But all good. Yeah, you said he was injured even when Whyte said he wasn't before the fight. I was on that show. Yeah, he was injured. Well, he had to get, if he'd said he's injured, he wouldn't have got the fight. But he was injured. He was injured because what happened directly afterwards? The shoulder. And if you remember, leading up to that fight, in the back, remember Dillian Whyte had a trainer before that and he got injured or something happened, a car crash or something happened to his trainer. Remember that trainer before that? And then Jonathan Banks came in and then Dillian was training with Jonathan Banks for a while. Remember that? And then after that, he went to Mark Tibbs. Yeah. Chisora looked better to me. He was winning the fight against an improved Whyte. Well, how was he winning the fight? I don't understand where he was winning this fight. To me, Chisora's a lot of his shots were being missed and getting caught and blocked. So I looked at the fight totally different. I thought Dillian was totally in control of the fight. For me, he was in control from first round when he hit Derek with that right hand, bang, straight down the pipe. Derek was shaken. I thought Dillian's got this fight and he's got it easy. Yeah, Derek was coming forward, and if you've got somebody who's got that style, who's bundling forward and putting pressure on you, yeah, you're going to have uncomfortable moments. But for the most part, he was under control behind the jab, using the right hand, hitting Derek up with uppercuts when he wanted to on the inside. So he was in more control of the fight. Again, that's just why I'm seeing it. Everyone's entitled to their own opinion. Let's cut to the chase. AJ's fighting Pulev. I don't know about that. I don't know. I don't know if he's fighting Pulev because paying a lot of money to bring Juro Miller over to then have him on Sky Sports. Or somebody said they saw him on Soccer Saturday. Why would you bring him on Soccer Saturday if he's not going to be fighting AJ? So I think it's Miller. I really think it's Miller. And I've looked at Miller's disposition. Seemed a lot nicer, Juro Miller. He sounded like if somebody had offered him some good money and he was going to be a good little boy and wait for his time to fight Joshua, but it was in stone. That's what I feel. I really feel it's Miller. BWTM, how are you doing, sir? I'm doing good. I'm doing good. I'm doing well. Thank you for asking. How did you celebrate? If you celebrate Christmas, how do you celebrate Christmas? As for me, no decorations in the house, no Christmas tree. Just another day in the office. But it was beautiful because my family came around, mum and dad came around, took some pictures, ate lots of food, and just celebrated family. There was a day, it was an excuse for family to get together. And from that, I've made a pact and said to my family, look, we should do this on a monthly basis. Let's not just wait for Christmas. And they agreed. So that's how the Christmas was for us. Chisora's head move is still there, though. Chisora was outworking Dillian Whyte. Okay, he was outworking Dillian Whyte. No, let me reverse that on you. Derek Chisora was outworking himself. If you're going to outwork somebody, science of boxing, if you're going to outwork somebody, the aim is for you to tire the other person out faster than you tire yourself out. Big shots. So when you're missing with big shots, and when you miss with big shots and you're loading and missing up big shots, or your big shots are being blocked and getting caught, that's tiring. That's tiring. Go back and look at the David Haye fight and go and look at the closing rounds of Derek Chisora versus Dillian Whyte 2. And they're almost identical. Easier fight to make, in my opinion. Okay, Chisora's movement is walking in straight lines and flat-footed. Yeah, it is. It is. Miller as a voluntary. Yeah, I can see that. Chisora could still win a world title. Yeah, maybe on Fight Night. Maybe on Fight Night Champion, he could win a world title. If he was going to win a world title, he shouldn't have fought Dillian Whyte. If he was going to fight for a world title, what he should have done, like I said before, is going down the Shah route. Like, you're chasing money, not world titles. And Derek said it himself. Remember, Derek said it himself, I'm in this business for money. I'm not in this business for belts. Belts ain't going to pay for my mortgage. That's Derek Chisora. That's Derek Chisora. So, Whyte was fighting with more controlled boxing, but he was still missing a lot. That's the Dillian Whyte style anyway. And his output wasn't as high as Chisora, and he was backed up a lot more. Yeah, he was backed up a lot more, but did you see the work that Dillian Whyte was doing on the inside? He was comfortable when he was backed up. He wasn't backed up and panicking. Watch inside, the work inside. Dillian Whyte was working little uppercuts inside. He was actually using that fight to try new things. Little short uppercuts inside, tying Derek up when he wanted to tie up Derek, leaning on Derek when he needed to lean on Derek, turning Derek when he needed to turn Derek. Dillian Whyte was doing a lot of things. He was fighting like an old pro. Fighting like an old pro. Like a guy who had 60, 70 fights. That's how Dillian Whyte was fighting. Dillian Whyte has done tremendously well if you think about his having no amateur career. Right? He fought so well. And coming from a kickboxing background, he has done really, really well for himself. And do you know what? Mark Tibbs is a very underrated trainer. And I'm putting that on record. Mark Tibbs is a very underrated trainer. If you think of where Dillian Whyte's come from to where he is today, Mark Tibbs is an underrated trainer. That man deserves an award. That man is one of the best trainers this country has got. He has turned Dillian Whyte from what Dillian Whyte was to what he is now. And that man, Mark Tibbs, needs to be given a round of applause. They're all quick to give people applause that don't deserve it or have fighters just land on their lap. Mark Tibbs has done the hard work of Dillian White. Bearing in mind, it's Dillian White that got knocked out by Anthony Joshua, and the world really didn't. As a brand, I think they've done tremendous work. Wilder wants to fight Klitschko. I don't know about that bit. I think Klitschko will want to fight Wilder, and if Klitschko wants to fight Wilder, that's a good fight to take now for Deontay Wilder. Chisora could win a world belt if he fights George Foreman for a regular. He might still lose to 2019 Foreman. How would Dillian do against Prime Hague? Now, there was a sparring session between Dillian White and David Haye, and David and Dillian sparred regularly, and David said he hit Dillian with his best punches and Dillian didn't go anywhere. And Haye fighting. I don't know. What links? I've never posted a link anywhere in my life. What are you on about exactly? It must be something you posted. It wasn't me. It's Nightbot. Steel sharpens steel. Even with little amateur background, Tunde and Yard should be taking note. I think they are. And if the Sullivan Barrera fight happens, as it's rumored to happen next year, that's a big step up. What's the weirdo chatting about? I make a comment and 1 second later someone talking about stop talking links. It's a real person. Ingram uses it to get rid of racist and bad language. That's all. Right. Very quickly, just to update you again for those who don't know about Nightbot. Nightbot is something that you can upload or you can ask to. It's like a moderator for my YouTube channel. It's a moderator that just stops people from swearing, and if they're swearing, they get booted out of the room, or if they're typing caps and start shouting in the room, it gives us. So it's a moderator. It's not me. It's a moderator. I don't type that fast anyway, and surely you'd see me typing, right? So, okay. Who's the best, McCracken or Mark Tibbs? Tibbs. Froch had an amateur career. Quite a good amateur career. Joshua had a good amateur career. McCracken trained Howard Eastman, I believe, at one point. I think Tibbs. I would go with Mark Tibbs. Barrera for Yard, that's a huge fight for him. Yes, I believe that's in February next year. I think it's February. And it's going to be at Leicester Arena. That's what, Leicester Arena. What's this news? Wilder are avoiding the rematch, are they? Oh, dear. Booth is the best in Britain. Yeah, based on what? Tips for me, McCracken gets all the top fighters. Thank you very much, Cameron. White's left hook is the same as Wilder's right hand. Game changes could happen anytime. I said, Wilson, I said, and greetings to season's greetings to you as well. I said the right hand of Wilder and the left hook of Dillian White. Woo! What a fighter! And then the chin of Joseph Parker. Yeah. What do you think about Freddie Roach's comments about Ben Davison? I spoke about it already. Do you think it was out of order or has been blown out of proportion? Well, I'll break it down for you again, John Chappell, as I spoke about before, and I'll do it again. My thoughts. First and foremost, Freddie Roach is a Hall of Fame trainer. Hall of Fame trainer. Regardless if you rate Freddie Roach or not, that is what he is. Ben Davison is, no disrespect, nobody knows who Ben Davison is, apart from those who can appreciate him up close and have worked with him. But to the world, nobody knew who Ben Davison was. So Ben Davison calls in Freddie Roach to his gym to train or to work with Tyson Fury, first and foremost. And I'm just giving you an idea. Might be right, it might be wrong. But if you come from a world of hierarchy, or if you believe in hierarchy or ranking systems, or higher levels of experience and all that sort of stuff, and you're not on a level playing field, then Freddie Roach should be asking Ben Davidson to come into his gym and serve an apprenticeship or an internship. That's how it should work. Okay, that's how it should work. Freddie Roach, the master, the Hall of Fame trainer, asked Ben Davidson to come in and work, right? That's how it should work. Master or teacher, pupil. That's how it should work. And maybe behind closed doors, there's a conversation between pupil and pupil, or teacher and teacher, because they can learn from one another. From a coaching dynamic. There is no way in hell that you bring in a Hall of Fame trainer and you reduce him to being a cutsman. You got Ricky Hatton in the corner. You have yourself in the corner. You have Asghar Tahir in the corner. And now you have Freddie Roach in the corner. And Freddie Roach would just look at all of the other guys and go, what? Who are you? Me? I'm a Hall of Fame trainer. Who are you? You're trying to establish your name out there. I am established. Okay, Ricky Hatton, he's a trainer, sure, and he achieved more than me as a world and became a world champion. Sure, I respect that. And it's not a disrespectful thing. It's just what it is. So I'm a Hall of Fame trainer coming into the gym. You called me into the gym now. You came to me. Now, if you've done it on the basis of being a fanboy, oh, Freddie Roach, he'd be great, wouldn't he? Freddie Roach, yeah, let's get Freddie in. And if you went fanboyish in and quite naive, then you ask a man's opinion. A Hall of Fame trainer, his opinion. So what, you want him to stay quiet? No, he said what he felt. And for me, as far as I'm concerned, I think that Freddie Roach was entitled to say what he said. 1. 2, if you didn't want Freddie Roach to speak out, sign a non-disclosure. Should I sign a non-disclosure before he came in camp? So everything that happens in camp, keep your damn mouth shut or you'll be seeing my lawyers. Any sort of business came afterwards. That's how I look at it. So Freddie Roach, if you don't want Freddie Roach to talk about what you do and how you act and how you behave, don't bring Freddie Roach into camp. Don't bring a Hall of Fame trainer into camp and demote him to being a cuts man. It is ridiculous. And I personally have no. There's always somebody who misinterprets what I said. It's not a disliking for Ben Davidson. Somebody asked my opinion. What was the question that was asked? What do you think about Freddie Roach's comments about Ben Davidson? And this is the sort of thing that we get across YouTube. People who are, and Ruben Guerrero, I'm going to call you out as an example of people who misinterpret, people who spread lies, people who spread propaganda, and people who take things out of context. Very dangerous sort of person to have around. Perceive that situation as you have a Hall of Fame trainer. That is like me starting off my I'm gonna design an operating system. Yeah, I'm gonna call it Doors 2020. Yeah, and I'm designing this operating system called Doors 2020. And Bill Gates decides to come from Windows, and I say, Bill, you know what? Coming to be part of our team. And I tell you what, you might be you can be, you know what? You can be my assistant while I'm working on Doors 2020. Doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that. But you know, Freddie, the one thing I will say in this is that if he felt so bad, I mean, he probably saw it as easy money. Freddie Roach, he may have saw it as easy money. And he may have seen it as an opportunity to get in there and work with Tyson Fury. You don't want people in your camp. If you don't want situation, embarrassing situation like that, don't have them in camp with you. That's all. So, Ali Bashir would have been perfect for Wilder, in my opinion. Possibly. Freddie could have said no, he didn't refuse. Instead, he agreed. So what's the problem? I don't know. No problem for me. He would bring the savage with structure. He might well do. Yeah. Let's move on. Next subject. Another trainer that I think needs to be given a hell of a lot of credit, and probably people will laugh at this, or they may scoff at it, or may overlook it. But Warrington's dad, is it Warrington? I think it's either his dad or his trainer. Josh Warrington's trainer is a very good trainer. Very, very good trainer. Josh Warrington. His training camps. You know, I said for the Warrington fight against Frampton, people say, "Oh, Frampton will beat Warrington." I said, "No, I can't see that. Bigger, stronger, fresher." And Frampton can only fight one way, which is off the front foot. When you push Frampton on the back foot and you press him, and I said, all Warrington has to do is watch the first part. All he has to do is watch the first part of the fight between the second half of Frampton versus Quigg. All he needs to watch is those last 6 rounds. That's the game plan you use to go out and put it on Frampton. And that's what he did. From first round, he won and put it on Frampton, which was pretty interesting. I thought it was pretty good. Pretty good. Warrington fought like a beast, and I think Warrington is definitely one of the best in the world. I would like to see him fight Leo Santa Cruz next. What's happened to Leo Santa Cruz, by the way? I've heard nothing about him. I haven't heard much about Gary Russell Jr. I'd like to see Warrington fight Gary Russell Jr. I'd like to see him fight. I'd like to see him fight Gary Russell Jr. And I'd like to see him fight Leo Santa Cruz. What's your thoughts on the Charlo fight? Had them both losing over the weekend. Right, the Charlo fight. Well, if you go back and look at my preview for the Charlo fights, I said that I would not be surprised if there was an upset on the weekend. And there was an upset with the younger brother. Shout out to Tony Harrison, by the way. New world champion. Yet another world champion has come through the what they call it, the corridors of BWTM. So I've got to reach out to Mr. Harrison and get that interview with him, hear what he feels about things. I have to be honest and say I like the Charlo brothers. I like what they're trying to do for themselves. But I think the Charlos are good fighters. They're good fighters. I don't know if they are like they're good fighters and good world champions. I don't know if they are superstars. Don't know. don't know. I have to take my time on both of those guys. I think they're really good fight. I think they're good fighters. I think they're solid, good fighters. But I don't. There's still something missing with both of them. Something's still missing. I don't know what it is. They're both something missing. And when I saw both of them fighting, I thought there was something missing with both of the fighters. I thought Charlo won his fight against Harrison. Honestly, truth be said, I thought he won it. But I'll go back and look at it again. But I still feel there was something missing with both Charlo brothers. I don't know. I have to look at them again fight. People will get barred unfairly. Nightbot thinks Caps is shouting and rude. Yeah, just don't type in Caps. Because Caps is considered shouting. Why are you typing caps locks? I'm still going to read your message. Just don't type in caps. It's simple. Everyone else is getting a message across. So I'm not taking Nightbot off to please a couple of people. Nightbot will remain there. But if you want to talk, just talk. Just type and talk. You don't have to caps everything. And there's no need to shout in the room. Harrison's a good fighter. Harrison worked with Uncle Bashir for a while. And he actually, if you listen to an interview I did with Tony Harrison, he talked about his relationship with Jim Lampley. And he said that him and Jim Lampley are very close. He spent a lot of time at Jim Lampley's house. And Tony Harrison also talks about his relationship with Emmanuel Stewart, because he was being trained under Emmanuel Stewart for a while at the Kronk Gym. And he also talks about, because I think, sure he's a Detroit fighter. Sure he's a Detroit fighter. And his favorite fight was Thomas Hearns. I'm sure that's what Tony Harrison said to me. Very, very interesting fighter. Very, very interesting fighter. Great story, backstory. When he died, when Emmanuel Stewart passed away, he said that it devastated him, and Jim Lampley was the guy that took him in, literally took him into his house, and he became part of the Lampley household. This is Tony Harrison. Yeah, Jim Lampley, which a lot of people give stick to, and I've given Lampley stick over the years, but yeah, that's Tony Harrison for you. Jamal seems like a front runner to me. We'll have to wait and see. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see with both of them. Can be useful to get the host's attention. Yeah. So what do you want to say, Ed? Instead of worrying about the Nightbot, why you say? I must admit, I can't wait for Pacquiao versus Broner. It's going to be a major league entertaining. Oh, let's talk about that fight. Switch subjects again. Broner versus Pacquiao. Unless Pacquiao, I mean, every time I think of Pacquiao, I think about a guy that's been squeezed of like a sponge, and how much more is left. Pacquiao's got even half of himself. He beats the brakes off of Broner, because Broner is flat-footed. Broner has a low output rate, and Broner is going to catch that left hand. I just see Pacquiao being too fast, too mobile, too much work rate, and hit too damn hard by Adrian Broner. That's what I see. I don't see Broner working hard enough. To me, this fight would have been a great fight at lightweight. This fight had been a great fight at lightweight. Pacquiao versus Broner at lightweight would have been a great fight, because Broner had that physical strength. But Pacquiao has been a welterweight for a while now, and he's fought some big guys. Just can't see. I can't see how Broner wins this fight unless Pacquiao is shot. Even if Pacquiao that turns up against, it's footwork. All Pacquiao sees is footwork, in and out, side to side, in and out, side to side, in, boom, 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 out, in, boom, 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 out, in, boom, 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 out. I just think Pacquiao wins that fight. He may even stop Adrian Broner. He may even stop Broner, because No, I don't. I don't think Manny will get robbed. I think he gets. I think he'll stop. I think he's. I think Manny stops. He stops Broner. I'm just wondering whether Pacquiao will come to the UK. I would love to see Manny Pacquiao fighting in the UK against one of our welterweights. I'd like to see Pacquiao v Khan. I think that's more interesting than Pacquiao versus Brook. I think Pacquiao versus Khan. I'd like to see Pacquiao versus Khan. If Khan can't get the fight, I know they talk about Khan versus Crawford. Not great. I think Pacquiao versus Khan's a great fight. Because there's always a possibility that Pacquiao may become old overnight, like really old. And Khan is just as fast as Pacquiao. I'd love. Um, I don't know. Maybe he could do, but I think if he's going to quit on the stool, it'd be off the left hand. I think Brian's a good fighter, but we'll have to wait and see. Let's see if there's anything else. I think that's about it to talk about, really. Yeah, I think that's about it. Don't think there's anything else. Broner looked in terrible shape at first press conference. I think Pacquiao stops him too. Chris, how are we doing? Season's greetings. Good to see you in the room. Haven't seen you for ages, my friend. How are you? I hope that you're well and good. Uh, much love to the family. Yeah, I don't know. Broner's going to have to cut all that weight. I don't know. I see Pacquiao stop. I do agree with you there. I do see. If Wilder fights Brazil, who do you think is suitable for Tyson? I think that Wilder may fight Klitschko. I think Klitschko's around. He's already fought Joshua. He's already fought Fury. So why not come back and fight Wilder? Because say he wants one more shot at the title. The Wilder v Klitschko. That's a big fight. I don't know if Wilder fights Brazil, you know. I really don't see Wilder fighting Brazil now. After getting that big paycheck against Tyson, I can't see him fighting Brazil next. I really can't. Let's see what the WBC order next. If they didn't order Wilder versus White, so let's see what they order next. Chris, yeah, it's always the way, being busy. I understand that. Anyway, have a good year, Ingram. If Wilder fights Brazil and AJ fights White, what about Fury versus Klitschko? Klitschko Fury for WBC. How's that going to work? How does that work? Can't see that happening. Klitschko Fury for WBC. I think Wilder fights. Well, I don't. I really can't see Wilder fighting Brazil next. He didn't seem too enthusiastic about fighting Brazil. I think Wilder should fight. I think Wilder fights Klitschko next. I think if it can happen, I think you fight Klitschko next. If you had a choice between fighting Fury, if Fury doesn't want to fight, or it's contractual, there's difficulties in that fight, making that fight. If Klitschko fights Wilder, wow, yeah. Then you're assuming that Klitschko beats Wilder. I don't see. I don't see Klitschko beating Wilder. No, he was old when he fought Fury. He was even older when he fought Joshua, and he's going to be even older still by the time he fights Wilder. Wilder knock him out. As soon as Wilder touches that chin with that right hand, and that could be the beginning of the end. He fought Joshua, inexperienced. He fought Tyson, who was pretty experienced, but doesn't fight that way. Wilder goes straight for him. Wilder goes straight for him. I'm dreaming. Wilder goes straight for him. We've seen how Klitschko does against really big punches who go forward first and are attacking. Look at it. Look at the history. Corey Sanders, big left hand. Klitschko out. Lamont Brewster, big puncher. Yeah, we can talk about the rematch. That's fine. But Samuel Peter, I don't really think, and pound for pound, Wilder's the biggest punch in the heavyweight division. I like the sound of White versus Povetkin for WBA regular title. Yep, I like the sound of that. I like the sound of that. But I prefer, I like the sound of that fight. England, when do you think Joshua Wilder, Joshua Fury will happen? Or is it possible one of those fights, like Bo Lewis? I think Joshua Wilder will happen if Joshua's forced into a corner and he has to fight Wilder. I think Wilder Fury, I want to know the health of Tyson Fury, how he is physically, mentally, emotionally, and whether he wants to climb up that ladder again. He fought for the WBC title. Has he got the motivation to come back and fight Wilder again? I mean, it's all well and good talking about it, but he may realize that a Wilder fight is pretty dangerous. He might not want any of that again. We all say, he might say, "Oh, I want to fight Wilder again." Fury talks out of his side of his mouth, so I don't know. He didn't convince me the night when I asked him directly, point blank, "Do you want to fight Wilder again?" Yeah, he didn't seem, he's, "Oh, I want to go and spend time with my family," and all this sort of stuff. He didn't seem to me like he wanted that Wilder fight. To me. Anyway, I'm not saying he's ducking him or anything like that. He didn't seem like Wilder was. It sounded to me that when he was talking, he was more interested in fighting Anthony Joshua than fighting Wilder again. Yeah, I agree. But if anyone has the experience other than Tyson to beat him, it would be him. Hearn loves a regular belt. Yes, Ryan. Good to see you in the room. As long as Fury's with Warren and AJ's with Hearn, we won't see it happen. Yeah, I agree with that. If Fury loses rematch, is there any chance of AJ fighting him after? Most likely, AJ would jump on the bandwagon to fight Fury. I'm not sure if he'll be so fast to fight Wilder. I think Wilder beats anyone he lands on. I'm not sure Fury would beat him in a rematch. He probably will land. If he walks onto it, he won't get up. Klitschko's a disgrace to boxing. The most cowardly, pathetic champion I've ever seen. Shake my head. His name should never be spoken. Thanks, and Stephen. Klitschko versus Wilder would be good. Depends who you speak to. If you're speaking to Sky, it's a great fight. It's mouth-watering. Let me rephrase that. If you're speaking Sky, it wouldn't be mouth-watering because, of course, they're in connection with Matchroom. So, no, they wouldn't want that fight. So, they would probably say that Klitschko's an old man and Joshua's already beaten him up. So they'll sell the Joshua narrative of Hercules. So, I think, I don't know, maybe Showtime might think it's a good fight. Klitschko gave it everything against AJ. He kind of redeemed himself in the defeat. Double-headed in New York. AJ versus Big Baby and White versus Brazil. That would be good. That would be good. That would be really good. But I don't see why who is Dominic Brazil beaten? Who is Dominic Brazil beaten? If you could tell me who Dominic Brazil's beaten, oh Lord, Wilder is vulnerable to the 1-2. Vlad is the best in history, 1-2 in history. Really? Well, I don't know about that bit. I think Muhammad Ali had a pretty good 1-2. I think Lennox Lewis had a pretty good 1-2. I think George Foreman's had one of the best 1-2s. I think the best 1-2 I've seen in boxing is when George Foreman knocked out Michael Moorer. Yeah. George Foreman, Michael Moorer. Boom, boom. Short shot. Knocking Moorer out cold. Coach Big C says, Vlad is finished. You better stay away from the young killers. I totally agree with you, Big C. Totally agree with you. And season's greetings to you and your family. As with you, Gorguja, Stephen, Seven, and Reality versus Voice. Yeah, Vlad is finished. But we are in an era of boxing of recycled fighters. Recycled fighters. I mean, how many times have we seen Macklin fight for a world title? How many times have we seen the return of what's this guy, the big puncher from Canada, David Lemieux, the repackaging of him, the recycling of fighters. So Wilder Fury, AJ Bacoli in a handicap match with White and the referee. Shannon Briggs would destroy Klitschko in 2 rounds. No joke. Briggs' power is being kept. Briggs' power is being kept in the shadows for a reason. Well, maybe because he did himself no favors, being on something he shouldn't have been on, if that is the case. But he certainly looked completely, very, very in great ripped shape for somebody of his age. Shannon Briggs, I don't know what to say about Shannon Briggs. I don't know what to say. I'm not even going to invite Shannon. I'm not even going to get into Shannon Briggs. White would never agree to that card. And Dillian, I know you listen to the show. Please, world title fight next. Please, Dillian. Please, Dillian. World title fight next. World title fight. WBA strap. Please, Dillian. The problem is AJ needs a proper fight with Wilder, while Wilder and Fury handle their business. For me, Luis Ortiz deserves a shot at AJ before Dillian White. Just one man's opinion. Ortiz was #1 contender, and he should have fought. But Ortiz has fought for a world title already. If you're talking about the top heavyweights, Fury, Wilder, Joshua, Ortiz, Brazil, 5. What have they all got in common? They've all fought or had a world title. Joe Parker, world champion, former world champion. So those top 6 have either fought for a world title. Takam fought for a world title. Takam has fought for a world title. Joshua is a world champion. Parker was a world champion. Tyson Fury has been a world champion and fought for a world title. Deontay Wilder, world champion. Brazil, world champion. Ortiz fought for a world title. One person in all the top 6 who's not fought for a world title fight yet is Dillian White. So Dillian White deserves it more than any of those guys because all them guys have fought for world titles. Ortiz versus AJ like that. Well, do you really? As long as you can accept that AJ, that Ortiz is the old man that Wilder beat. If you're from the belief that Ortiz was an old man that Wilder knocked out, then please, he isn't going to get any younger fighting Joshua. He remains an old man. Just to be balanced about it. What's next for Billy Joe Saunders? How can Frank take him to top now the zone control middleweight? Well, he have to move to super middleweight, won't he? So has White. White has never fought for a world title. When did White fight for a world title? Or are you talking about that British title fight he had against Joshua all those years ago? White has never fought for a world title. White versus Ortiz makes most sense. Makes sense. They are now the best. No, White doesn't make sense. White versus Ortiz only makes sense if you work for Matchroom or Williamson, or you follow the Eddie Hearn narrative that White shouldn't be getting a world title shot. Sorry, I don't agree with that, and I'm not even entertaining it. White is a good fight for AJ, to be honest. Probably insane as first. Well, I don't know. Oh, sorry, British title that was. Ortiz rocked Wilder more than Fury. So that's the basis of a world title shot. To be honest, as big as White fan is, I'm glad he's been kept on ice. He'll be a full beast when his chance does come. Oh yeah, he will be. He will be. He will be. Whoever is facing him as world champion on the night. You know, I hope that Dillian White's career doesn't end up like Danny Williams. I really hope Dillian White doesn't end up like Danny Williams. fellow South Londoner. Williams to kickboxing as well. Danny Williams. I wonder. I can't agree. I can't disagree with your logic. I think White certainly has improved. White AJ has been the plan, it seems, from here in the US. I don't think he. I used to think it was. I don't anymore. I don't anymore because it was the plan. If it was the plan, check this out. Check this out. For you who think that Dillian White would be next in line, why didn't AJ just walk into the ring with Dillian White? Why did he do that? Because there's obviously some other negotiation going on behind closed doors. And I really think it's Miller. I really think it's Miller. I think it's Miller next. WBO will certainly create an interim belt for Dillian White to fight for. Usyk has priority if he vacates. I'm not a White fan, but at least he seemed fit for the first time in a while. Okay, I understand. Okay, you don't have to be a fan to appreciate a man's hard work. You don't have to be a fan to appreciate someone. There's a difference between appreciating somebody's hard work and then being a fan, right? And there is a difference. White versus Jennings, W mandatory. No. I like Jennings, but to be honest, Jennings should fight Joseph Parker. That's who he should fight. Parker's well known, former world champion. Jennings on the comeback trail. And he's got what Parker is vulnerable to, which is the left hook. So I think Jennings versus Parker is a great fight. Love to see that fight. Billy Joe Saunders should move up. Was like 20 pounds over the middleweight limit. Yeah. I bet you Fury steps in and takes on White to show Wilder and AJ up good and proper. Okay. Big Babe Miller hasn't fought a soul. I mean, nobody. White definitely deserves it over Miller. I agree with you. I totally agree with you. Totally agree with you there. Totally agree. Your internets are rebelling. I'm not sure what you're talking about. Reality versus voice. White has done it so well since he lost, but we all want to see AJ versus Wilder, let's be honest. Yeah, everybody wants to see it. Apart from the promoter. If White was with Warren, would he have had a touch by now? Absolutely. Absolutely. But if I've said it before, I'll say it again. Dillian White, join Al Heyman. Join Al Heyman. Said it before, I'll say it again. Join Al Heyman. Or Frank Warren, but I'll join Al Heyman. I'd love to see Dillian White join Al Heyman and join Heyman Sports. I would love to see that. Love to see it. White is a sucker for the strike right tailor made for Jennings. Gillian Gass from Overload, he looked fine the other day. Dillian White was not in shape when he fought Joshua, if that's the fight you're referring to. He now has experience and is now composed. He's a threat to any top fighter. I think he is the liveliest of all contenders. Hearn is killing him. Oh, I agree. I totally agree. But I've said this for the longest while. I said it before the Lucas Brown fight. I said I don't think he'll get a world title fight. Then he fought Parker. I didn't think he'd get a world title fight then. Now he's fought Chisora. I don't think he'll get a world title fight after that. I want to see all these top four fight each other. Since Wilder Fury are busy, Ortiz lost in March and has been KOing people since. Ortiz versus AJ is big time fight. Ortiz wins. It's a possibility now, Ingram. Now Heyman and people see on ITV. And I remember calling Eddie up about it. I remember I did one interview I did with Eddie Hearn. I asked him about Al Heyman because I could see Al Heyman coming to the UK. I saw it coming, and now he's arrived. We should be talking about Fury versus Joshua and nothing else. There's nothing new. There's really a dull world where when I watch boxing, if you become a champion, if you go to a man's backyard, you've got to rip the title away from the champion. Rip the title, knock him out, like when Lewis beat Rackman to become heavyweight champion of the world again. There was no conversation to be had. Once you can still talk about points and disputing points, you got to knock a man out. To me, like that, you know what the situation is before you go to America. Everybody knows the situation. You know the drill. You go to America, you got to knock a man out. You can't be fiddling around and pointing to the man. And all these people said that Fury would knock out Wilder and all these, and then Fury wouldn't get touched. Nah, he was going to get hit and he was going to get hurt and he was going to go down. So for me, the fight's a draw. You do not win a fight. You get knocked down twice in a fight. You did not dominate a fight. And if you don't dominate a fight, you got no downright winning a fight, especially against the world champion in his backyard. It doesn't go that way. I'm sorry. That's how boxing is. Fury didn't do enough for me. Okay, he may have done enough if he was fighting in the UK, but he was fighting in America. And he got knocked down twice. That says it all. He wasn't as dominant as everyone would like it to be. But you better be careful in the rematch. That's all I'm saying. You better be careful in the rematch because that was the worst Wilder I've seen. And Fury hasn't improved. Fury has not improved as a boxer. He's doing the same things he was doing when he fought Klitschko. That's not improvement as a fighter. He's doing the same things and he's got himself into the same patterns. And he got knocked down doing the same things. Fury has not improved as a boxer. Which means if he hasn't improved, it means he's regressed. He hasn't improved. Show me where Fury's improved from that Klitschko fight to now. Show me where he's improved. What is he doing better? What is he doing differently? And that wasn't squint. If you're schooling somebody, you don't get knocked down twice. You don't get knocked down twice. That's not schooling. Sorry. I don't know what kind of school of thought you've come from, but that's not schooling somebody. Barrera Hamid is schooling. Okay? That's what you call school. If you want to know what schooling is, you want to know like the boxing dictionary what a schooling is, go and watch Prince Azim Hamid versus Antonio Barrera. That is what you call schooling. Right? That is what you call a proper schooling. Reality versus White is not getting a title, but he's raking in the mega cash with pay-per-views. Doing much better than all these other non-champions. Yeah, he is. But money and becoming heavyweight champion of the world are two different things. And I really think that Dillian White wants to become world champion. I do. Eddie said he don't do contracts with fighters. Now Heyman is hit. He don't do contract with fighters. So what the hell is he signed? So what's the contract between him and Joshua then? Re-signing of Matchroom. Is that not a contract? Is that not a contract? Eddie's no one talks out his ass. Maybe he don't sign contract. He don't do contracts. Of course he does contracts. Feed him to Joshua yet. Yeah, I can understand that. Feed him to Joshua. I don't. Fury done more in the 7th than Fury. Ortiz did more than 7th than Fury did in the whole fight. Okay. Joining Loughborough was the best move of White's career. Has more confidence in his conditioning. Not his confidence in his conditioning, is because he wasn't fit when he fought Joshua. And since then, he has realised that he cannot go into fights unfit. And he can't win as he was trying to win for his career. He needs to get the shoulder injury repaired. And also to the fact that he's got a good trainer, Mark Tibbs. Wilder will knock out Fury smooth inside 7 rounds. I see the rematch like that. The last knockdown, that's the type of blow that affects your chin long term. That's something I'm thinking as well. I really think. I always ask about Fury's health after the fight because he got hit. If you look at Fury's face afterwards, he got hit with some heavy blows, right? And while fans are just, yeah, you go and fight Wilder again. I don't know how much damage Fury took in that fight against Wilder, whether he wants a direct rematch with Wilder again. All I'm saying is that we all have opinions. I thought the count was shaky at the end. The only 3 opinions that matter were the judges. Got to live with the result. I agree with that. What were your thoughts on Gorman versus Conjanu? Not much. I'd rather Gorman fought somebody else, not Conjanu. Boxing is not scored by knockdowns. Wilder failed to win enough rounds to win or draw the fight. Really? That's your opinion. Wilder's still WBC champion as far as I'm concerned. The good thing is we can get a great rematch, even a trilogy in Vegas or New York City. I agree. Do you think the UK has better heavyweights? Let Wilder fight Joshua, and I'll answer that question. Well, you say that then. We don't have to agree. Your opinions could never trigger me, so don't you get triggered by others. Interesting. Interesting. Um, while I'm in the room, I'm going to. Is there anything else we need to talk about? I've talked about Frampton. I've talked about. Oh, yeah. Let's talk about this topic. Khan versus Brooke, and Khan's comments about Brooke being homosexual or gay. I will say this much. Either Khan is late to the story or like why are you releasing that information now? That information those rumors have been flying around the boxing circle for years about Kell Brook. So if Khan only now heard that story, why? He must have known this for a long time. And if that's the case, then is that the reason why the fight's not happening? Ingram, have you been a Tyson Fury hater since the split with Peter Fury? Okay. Beowulf Boxing. I look, words like hate are your words, not mine. It's your interpretation of the situation, not my interpretation of the situation. So when you put in words like have you been a Fury hater? That's your objective, your thought process, asking me a question, being slick based on your perception of me. You don't know me well enough to know whether I hate somebody or I love somebody. I'm here to be as balanced and fair as possible. My thought processes about Tyson Fury are that I think I've said a lot of things I said, have they not come to pass about Tyson Fury? About him being rushed into a world title fight. I even talked about the keys to victory of how he'd win a fight. If you hate somebody, You don't talk about them to a point where you actually show them the keys to victory, how to win a fight. So if that's what you believe I'm at, that's in your mindset, then I'm not going to spend my time trying to convince you of that. And neither should I have to. And no matter what I say, you, Beowulf Boxing, I can always believe that I'm a hater. So, because that's the world you're from. You're in a world that has this subscribe to this hate. If you don't kiss a fighter's ass, if you don't say exactly the key words that everyone else is saying, if you're not a slave to the system like everyone else is to this particular way system, you're a hater. No, I do not sign up for that. So therefore, because I'm not saying what you want me to say, I'm not worshipping Tyson Fury. Because I'm not worshipping him, saying, oh, he's the greatest thing since sliced bread, because he's not. He's a very good fighter. He's a very talented fighter. But I have no reason to hate him. My name's not Fury. I wasn't involved in the split. I had nothing to do with the split. So why would I hate Tyson based on his family's, whatever's going on with his family? I don't understand your logic in that. So if Merkel and Prince William break up, how does that affect me? How does what happens in the Fury family affect me? It doesn't. It's none of my goddamn business. And if you want to go there, I've never at one point in time ever got myself involved in whatever's happened in their family. So my answer to you is, ask me my opinion on something. Don't come with a negative to ask me a question, okay? Because you've already asked it. It's a question, a rhetorical question, really. So that's my answer to you, Beowulf Boxing. Has to be said. Typical troll-like question. Do you or anybody on here know what happened to the DeGale Eubank fight that was set for December 8th? Yeah, they pushed it forward or pushed it back to January because of I think the other fights that were on the December 22nd date with White and Chisora. They said they wanted to have more time to build the fight up. So I think the fight was going to be somewhere in January 18th or January 22nd. They were looking of having DeGale Eubank to open the PBC show in January. That's what happened with that. So they wanted to open PBC in the new year and to start off with Eubank versus DeGale as the first either pay-per-view or a free-to-air show. That's what I believe. I don't know if they'll do it on the same night as Broner versus Pacquiao. I don't know yet. But what I do know is that they push it to the new year, which I think is great forward thinking. BWTM is the most fair, unbiased channel on YouTube. Best is relative. He's the best. I don't know. It's fair to give any fighter credibility and criticism. While they're brandishing gold pistols and rocket launchers in promo programs for a fight is the disgusting example the young blacks in America disgusted. No, bro. I've been on your channel before. I've just seen a changing attitude towards him. I know you were close to Peter. Yeah, then you should know better. You should know better. I know who you are. You should know better because I find you to be a very articulate young man. And for you to ask me a question where you've asked me if my change in my attitude to Tyson Fury, it's quite simple. Cut the crap. Don't tell people you were boxing like Sugar Ray Leonard when you weren't. Don't tell people that you're going to come back and fight like Muhammad Ali, or you're gonna come back like Muhammad Ali, make a comeback like Muhammad Ali when you're clearly not. Don't say things and then you're contradictory. So it's just watching Tyson, what he says and what he does. So it's not a change. It's just he's out there. So when he's out there and he's making these comments and he's making these things and he's saying things like, you said you didn't get hit in your last fight. Last time you got hit with 4 or 5 punches in your last fight. Or people coming in and say to me, oh, Tyson's going to fight Wilder and he won't get hit. I'm like, Pianetta hit him. If Pianetta can hit him, then Wilder will definitely hit him. So it's not hate. It's more responding to questions that are asked and answering them. And a lot of people come out of left wing and come out and say things like Tyson Fury is the greatest fighter ever. Well, I don't subscribe to that. The greatest fighter ever lived for me was Sugar Ray Robinson. I don't think Tyson can even touch his bootlaces, personally. But that's just my personal opinion. But I've never said anything derogatory about Tyson Fury. And the comments and the criticisms I've had of Tyson have been criticisms that they're constructive. And the points I raise about Tyson Fury, they're not out there. They are things that you could say, okay, he said he didn't get hit in his fight. Well, he did get hit in his fight. We've got video evidence that he did. He said that he'd come back and make a comeback like Muhammad Ali. Well, Muhammad Ali came back and he fought back to back to back for the top fighters within 8 or 10 months. Fury didn't do that. Fury's first 2 fights were against Pianeta and against Safir Safiri. Those were 2 defenses of the linear heavyweight championship of the world. If you really want to go there, are they the sort of can you compare that to what Muhammad Ali did when he was making his comeback? So if you want to call that hate, well, fair enough. Call it hate. I just think I've just been constructive, and I'm not worshipping Tyson Fury. That's all. That's my theory on it. So it's not hating. I just didn't like the way you put the question together. Khan said BWTM was a homer because he was talking about loving boxers. What? Reality. Away with you. Apologies, bro. Didn't mean to upset you. Well, it's just the way, mate. Much respect to you and for asking the question. You could have kind of put it a different way. I've got a lot of respect for you, bro, because you're a really articulate young man. You've been on the channel before, so it's not like we don't know one another. Like the way you put that question out, it's kind of like making me believe the way you've written it down, the old English language, the way you put it down, read between the lines, is that you think I hate Tyson. I don't. But I don't. Yeah, people celebrate Tyson in the comeback he made and the weight he lost and he came back and the mental health. Great. Fantastic. And that's not a sarcastic clap. What about Danny Jacobs? Didn't he have cancer? Said he wouldn't live? Said he wouldn't come back and box? Came back, became world champion. I don't hear everybody jumping up and down and celebrating Danny Jacobs for coming back from cancer. I'm not comparing. I'm just putting it out there. Balance. Delo 04 Boxing and More says there's no part of putting on a boxing clinic or exposing somebody that includes getting dropped badly or knocked out of contest. I can see Hennessy folding unless MTK Global bankrolling behind the scenes. Coach Big C says, it makes me worry about, because Wilder is doing interviews, going to fights. He's into it, fired up, drooling for the rematch. Fury's staying low. I hope he's chilling with his wife and kids. Of course, it is concerning. It is very concerning. It is very concerning. Is Klitschko lurking in the background? Is Klitschko lurking in the background? That's what I want to know. Bragging has always been exaggerated. We will take it as a pinch of salt. Well, not everyone does. I watched Ali versus Liston 1 the other day, and Fury did remind me of Ali a bit in terms of his moves, even the touch in the face bit. Ali did that a lot in the Liston fight. Ali fought 2 bums and got soundly beat by Fraser. Am I missing something? Ali came back and he fought Oscar Benavides. He fought 4 of top 5 on his way back to the heavyweight championship of the world. And then he lost to Fraser. He lost to Fraser. That's true. But who did he fight to get up the top ratings? Bums. Ali fought bums. Man, that proves to me you don't know much about boxing. Really want to see the rematch. Everyone just wants to see it. It's big time. Once it's announced, it will get wall-to-wall mainstream coverage. Of course it will. Fair point, bro. I'll take your feedback. Some of these commentator scorecards are better wiping your ass with. I can't see Wilder winning rematch. Okay. Barry Johnson's way off Fury fight. Ali knocked out Liston, though. Yeah, he did. Of course he did. And Liston was no bum, of course. You know, I don't know. Boxing is subjective. And but the fact that somebody came in here and said that Ali fought two bums, that's not good. That's not good. In fact, I think this is a time where we have to check reality. You just come out and said Ali fought two bums. I don't take too kindly to that. But let's see who these bums are you're talking about on his way to fighting Fraser. Because I know Ali fought. Let's just do this for a second. I just want to do this. If you want to all come with me to BoxRec, I just want to go to BoxRec. So he said he fought two bums. I want to know who these two bums are that you're saying. Right. Before he fought let me get the Fraser fight. Second Fraser fight, the first Fraser fight. I don't know. Here we go. Right. Here we go. Comes back and fights Jerry Quarry. Oscar. So he fought him. He fought Jerry Quarry in October. Then he came back and fought Oscar Bonavita in December. And then he went on and fought Joe Fraser in March. So Jerry Quarry, 37-4-4. Bonavita and Joe Fraser. 3 fights. Ingram, they were Pianetta level fighters, maybe not bombs, but still cannon fodder. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I'd like to check though. I don't think that Oscar Benavidez would have been considered Pianetta. I don't think so. Let me go and look at Oscar Benavidez's record anyway. But I know that Oscar Benavidez I think he was ranked in the top 4 in the world at the time. I know that Pianetta certainly wasn't ranked in the top 4 of the world. If there's a boxing historian in the room, because it's the same result. You look at what happens when an Olympic fighter fights a guy that's had very little amateur experience, or guys had great amateur experience and very little amateur experience. We've got many examples of that within the British ring. Okoli versus Chamberlain, Okoli versus Watkin, Josh Taylor versus what's this guy's name? I see him now. See the guy's name. I can see him now. See the guy's name now. I see face. Somebody bring his name up in a minute. But yeah, guy from Hackney. Ahara Davis. That's it. There you go. What can Wilder do differently in the rematch? If Fury doesn't play with him, he doesn't get dropped, then it's clear victory for Fury. Yeah, that won't happen. There's too much biased commentators have their favourites and won't let it go. I know. I agree with you there. It wouldn't surprise me. Klitschko is probably training right now, but Father Time is undefeated. I don't want to see Vlad get hurt. I like Vlad a lot. Kronk, Jim, stand up. Of course. Wilder can actually stick to the game plan and not chase Fury with the right hand, cocked back the whole fight. He doesn't fight like that anyway. That's true. Gallup Fearon. No, there's no way that Spencer Ferron will ever, well, I won't say ever. I'd be very surprised if they allow Spencer Ferron to go live on Sky. That's why Spencer's got that toe-to-toe show, right? Because it can be pre-recorded. You can control what a person has to say. There's no way Spencer Ferron. See, I would love for PBC to have Spencer Ferron working in the UK. Love to have him. That would be perfect, but he's at Sky. Spencer Ferron's one of these guys that cannot be controlled in that sense. So Spencer will say what he's got to say. If you're sitting there, if you're sitting next to Spencer and you say, Spencer, oh, this guy's winning the fight. He's definitely winning the fight. Spencer said, Chow, what are you talking about, man? He ain't winning the fight. He's losing the fight. More to the point, he's about to get himself knocked out. No, Spencer say, no, Adam, I don't agree with you. This fight, as far as I'm concerned, there's no way this guy won the fight. Then, you know, it's counterproductive. So Spencer, you don't know what Spencer, we don't know what Spencer will pull out when he goes on Sky. That's how they think. That's why he's not on Sky, and that's why you don't see him at the big fights. That's the simple reason why. You know, it's everyone else you see around at Sky, you know, Spencer Ferron and big fights. Why is that? Why is that? See Johnny Nelson. You see the guests in the big fights and asking their opinion. You don't see Ferron. Why? It's outspoken. Keep your comments on social media. Don't bring them to the big fights. We don't want that. Wow, there's a lot of people talking in the room. And I was looking to close. What were the rankings? So we established I was closer to the truth than you. You said he fought 4 times. I said 2. I wasn't wrong after that, was I? No, I think Bonavita was a very good fighter. Commentators are paid to be biased by the broadcaster. Who has an interest in fight? Who has in fighters? I guess they forgot to tell Manalaji. Regis Progress. What about him? He's a good fighter. Yeah, screw when Brenton kicks in. Would Pianetta beat Little? I don't think so. Pianetta fought Klitschko for the title when he was unbeaten. That's not a bum. Linear heavyweight championship of the world. You think it's acceptable for him to make a defense against Pianetta? Okay, fine, not a problem. I'm not even getting into it with you. Leave it out there for someone else to get into it. Wilder's not is a counter puncher sniper. Let's not act like Wilder didn't win at least 3 of the first 6 rounds due to Fury not landing a punch. Really, you should follow O'Hara on YouTube. He's got women problems. Last time I saw O'Hara, I saw a picture of him with this Turkish girl, and he's learning to speak Turkish. Girl looked pretty decent looking, good looking girl, and O'Hara looked like he's doing well for himself. He didn't look like he had women's problems, unless something's happened since then. LOL, Spencer Chestnut. Pianetta is a bum. I like Fury, but he fought bums before Wilder. There's Ryan Goodwin. Having Spencer and Nelson, having Spencer and Nelson in Sky would be hell. Interesting. I don't want to see Ortiz knock Vlad onto Quay Street. Ortiz knocks Vlad's head off his shoulders. Smith, Nelson, Macklin. I would listen to Bill in my living room. The question is, if they're in your living room, why the hell do you even let them through your front door? That's funny. I like that one. Ryan, why'd you let him through the front door, mate? Who could Little fight next? He's better losing a bit of weight and rebuild. Dave Allen. Ingram, I said Ali fought 2 easy fights, then got soundly beat. You told me Ali fought 4 world-class fighters on the way, and just say I do love and respect this sport and your channel. Yeah, okay, he fought 2 fights, but he fought 2 quality fighters from what I remember. Bonavita was a good fighter. Oscar Bonavita was a good fighter. Was rating guys who fought for titles. The problem with him having a good-looking woman is he's got loads of other men who want to take her. It's stressing him. I get it. I get it. Right. Well, if Ahara ever needs some advice, I'll tell him. When he looks at these women, is he looking at his wife or is he looking at a model? And so the foundations is there, and I don't want to get too much into it. He needs to get into the process of courting. And courting is that he would have to ask several serious questions as to what he's doing with this woman and what her objective is. Is her objective to actually be his handler? Is her objective to promote her own career? Or is she serious about becoming his wife? You know, are they looking to build something serious together? Because if they're looking to build something serious together, he shouldn't have to worry about other men being after his woman. But if his relationship is on rocky ground, then yeah, he's gonna have problems. Simple. The problem, it's stressing him. Does Billy Nelson still coach Colin? Well, I sent a message to him. He never responded to me, so that's it really. Ingram said top 4, not top 4. Yeah, yeah. Oscar Baby. Let's not act like Ali, Fraser, Foreman didn't fight a little bums like Wilder. Let's remember there was one world title at that time. Let's remember it's 15-round fights. Let's also remember that fighters didn't duck other fighters. They fought one another. More or less, they fought one another, and regularly, and they fought more often. Let's not forget that as well. Let's not forget that as well. Right. He thinks if his career starts to go downhill, she'll walk away, basically. Then she's not for him. She's not for him. She's not for him. I tell her right to his face. She's not for you, mate. She's here today, gone tomorrow. And there's plenty of girls like that in the world. Here today, gone tomorrow. Haven't got your back. That's not the kind of woman you want to be around. Personally, that's my person. Yeah, but it's like when you. I'm going off topic here, but just for a second, a relationship is very much when you're with someone. It's almost like the foundation. If you're building it based on sex, you're building it based on somebody's looks, then that's like building your house on sand and then expecting it to stay upright when the tides come in. You know what's going to happen when the tides come in. I know what's going to happen when the tides come in. And then your house is built out of, I don't know, it's built out of wood. And it's high up. It's built high up. High up, that's the expectation. And there's the house. And the high up, and there's the expectation. The house is on top, and it's all the sand. And you know you built it on sand, and you're just hoping that the water don't touch it. But you live by a sea. So that's what Hara's issue is. He lives by the sea. He lives by the sea, and he's built a house on sand, a sand castle. So when the water's coming in, the other men or the other situation, external issues coming, you can't check unless you are some wizard. There's no way you're going to stop that water from the sea coming in when you built your house there. There's a possibility if that water touches your sand, your house, your dream, collapses with it. So that's the whole story there about the whole horror situation there. There's a story there. Another moderator just handled this. Okay, what happened? I think we've got moderator. What's going on with moderator? Got somebody else moderating at the moment in the room. It's not me. Thank you very much. Really, to come up is a little irrelevant. Only need to look at the first title fight. Hara said she's self-made. What you do with him then? Self-made. Oh, tease is number 4 to me. That sounds like a fling or an F ship, not relationship. And obviously number of fights as well. By the time Leonard fought Duran, he already had 61 fights and Duran had 81. But when they fight in the heavyweight division was not good. I was just a lot. I was just a lot of fat guys throwing punches. You should give him a call, Ingram. I think it's going to affect his career. Who am I to talk to Ahara Davis about? Listen, you know, I'm sure there are other people close to him, friends close to him. His closest friends will look at her and see straight through her. You know, do you know what would be the test? Do you know how I test her? I said, you know what? I think we should keep our relationship quiet. I think we should keep it real quiet. I think we do. Not be on Instagram, not on Facebook, not on Twitter. We're not going to even publicize our relationship. I wonder how far she'll stick around with Ahara Davis. That's what I would do. I would just say, you know what, honey? I've been thinking, you know what? I'm going to come off of YouTube, come off Instagram. I want to keep our relationship quiet, you know, like, you know, just me and you, because, you know, until we can build something substantial together, I don't really want to talk too much about our relationship. We're going to keep it quiet. See how long she sticks around, because it's not promoting her stuff. So that's what I think. But I could be totally wrong. But me personally, I've seen women like that come and women like that go, quite literally. Come and go. And Ahara rolls with them Essex weirdos. No wonder he's picking the wrong one. I'm off. Thanks for a great show, Ingram. Ahara is a lovely lad. I feel for him. I don't know. I can't speak on who a man hangs out. It's interesting who we decide to pick in our lives. I'm just speaking from my own personal experience and the fact I do some coaching with some people in marriages and relationships, and yeah, the number one thing that's a killer. The number one thing that's killer in relationships is when you look at somebody for their beauty and their sexuality as opposed to what this offers. And if you kept it from here upwards rather than from there downwards, see, 2 types of relationships. You can have one from here, down there, and here from here, up there. I think the ones that are from here, up here, last longer than the ones from here to down there. Person, here. Should be gone quicker than you could light a fire. Think the videos are a good way to expose a character just on a hard days. That has just turned into the Ingram Kyle show. I need to go back on my other channel and do some talking and that anyway. But yeah, thank you for opening up that little thing about Ahara Davis. Hara, if you're out there, brother, from one Hackney brother to another. Put your career first, especially in what you're doing. Because what she's doing, No one's trying to render her unconscious. Okay, what you're doing, people are trying to render you unconscious. And as we've seen in boxing, some people, when they get knocked out, don't come back to be able to spend their money. So you need to be with your faculties to get chasing skirt. If you want to be the person that you say you are, you need to be going out there 100% focused on your boxing. Because you don't want to be going into a ring not focused. I could talk very deeply on that subject, very, very deeply on that subject. Very deeply on that subject. And when you put your you put other things ahead of your boxing career, when you've got good people in your boxing career and you put them to one side, there have been the people that have helped you along your boxing career and have taught you how to do certain things, and then you decide to shortchange the people closest to you for a woman, it can have detrimental effects to your boxing career. Take it from me, and that's as much as I will say on that matter. Take it from me, it is detrimental and could end up you losing your life in the process, quite literally. That's all I'll say on that matter. Because she knows if he wasn't a boxer in the limelight, she wouldn't be with him, and it makes me insecure. That's reality. It's the same for all successful men. Yeah, I guess so. I guess so. Hmm. Hmm. I could go there. I mean, I just feel that if a woman's gonna leave you, she's gonna do it anyway. I think that's my thought on the process thing. And I've been married what 8 years now in May. My wife's from America, and she was former Mrs. Illinois, former beauty pageant. Um, and if I spent my time studying about what other man would want her, and there are plenty of other men that would want her, I my mind's not in the game. It's not in the right perspective. It's not looking the right things. But he should have been asking some serious questions. If he's feeling that way, he needs to ask his partner, whoever she's in his life, some serious questions. And if he feels that she is, if he's got doubts about her and worried about other men taking her, then you're not the right woman for you. And it's up to her to convince him, because all that's going to happen is he's just going to be paranoid, and he's going to want to just control her. Don't want to control her everywhere she goes. Who are you going to? Who are you talking to? Checking the phone all the time. Unless you can, but the foundations have to be right. Why are you with her? Yeah, I think that's about it for myself. God, thank you so much for talking to me about Hara Davis. Although we're not, I don't know him personally. I know people who know of him, and from one Hackney brother to another Hackney brother, I wish him nothing but the best. Ahara's always been about the money. Hopefully, he's not splurging too much. You can't be 100% focused as a pro boxer with that kind of stress. No, you can't. Ahara's a sensitive dude, but also not the brightest light bulb in the backside of my head. Well, well, if you're sensitive around people talking sense around you, then yeah, it's only one way you're going to learn, isn't it? We told you not to build your house on sand by the beach. All right. So you build your house on sand by the beach. The tide is coming in, and the sea will hit the sand, and your house will fall and crumble. Your dreams are in that house. Guide them, guard them well, put them on good foundation. He's smart enough to know female nature. Well, I hope so. I sincerely hope so. Right, I've got to get out of here. Thank you all so much. And that little Ahara Davis bit at the end. Thank you, whoever asked that question again. I really appreciate that you've taken me to another side of my life, or always, listen, I want to close off by saying this. Much love to everybody that comes on to the channel. We might not agree, and I don't expect you to agree with everything I say, because this is not a dictatorship. Just respect and love for one another, and just respecting people's opinions from where they're at. You know, everyone's got a different opinion. But I will say this much. BWTM or Baylor TV has given everybody a platform that has been given the opportunity to speak their truth. To speak their truth. Always. And that's who I am. To give people the opportunity to speak and say what they've got to say. You know, everyone likes to criticize. Everyone likes to criticize. We're in a world that everyone likes to criticize and be critical of one another. But we're not too great at praising one another. We're always happy to see a person fall, but we're not so great to see a person rise. That's the mentality. You know, let's see them fall. Let's see them beaten. Let's see them lose. Let's see them die. Let's see them this. Always this negative thing. I wish everybody nothing but the best. No matter who talks badly about me and gossips behind my back, the reason why they're behind my back, there's a reason behind the reason behind my back. And I don't pay any attention to that. I stay focused and forward on what I'm doing and helping other people on their journey. You know, we've had a great year. 2018, a great year. The gaming channel is close to getting 1,000 subscribers there. We're really good with that. The news channel, which has now got people on there as well. And, you know, a lot of people I know that I come across in life that have got various illnesses and pains and stuff. Now we're getting people on the channel coming through that are healers, that heal people from long-term injuries and stuff, educational things. Brilliant. I'm just excited because that's just another thing, part of the channel, which is great. Live shows, musicians on the channel. Really, really excited for 2019. This is going to be a massive year in 2019. Also, you know, with PBC coming to the UK, that's great as well. So I'm really excited about that as well. Progressive, and round for round as well. There's lots of great things. I mean, this is 2019 equals 10 years. 10 years of doing this stuff. 10 years. And we've got some real exciting things coming up. I'm looking to do a phone in. I've promised Kenny, BWTM Kenny, I promised him for 2 years we're going to be doing call-ins for the show. We will do it. I'm still looking into it, but we'll start doing call-ins for the show. And yeah. And yeah, you wait. We'll do something, and I'm sure others will follow. Thank you all so much once again. Will you be podcasting? What's up, bro? What did I miss? Can't you come back? Will you be podcasting? I don't know if I'll be podcasting. I don't know. People keep asking about this podcast thing. And I think 2019 will be the year you'll see more new faces on BWTM for sure. 2019 will have new faces. We're working behind the scenes to bring those new faces to you. So new faces 2019, and really making a big statement in 2019. Really, I think we've got a great platform. News, music, entertainment. It's just now being consistent with all those areas now, and having our own platform, a la, AKA, bye-bye YouTube. But that's what it's about. Patreon. Yeah, people talk about Patreon as well. By the way, I've said it before, and I'll say it again. Did you all check out? Let me see what's there. Yeah, the BWTM Cup. If you haven't seen it already, the Cup of Success. BWTM Cup of Success. Before I go, you not seen it? It's there. It's in the description box. That's where we're at. The BWTM Cup is a success. Check it out when you do. This is BWTM Sports and BWTM Online. We're out of here. Take care.